In the last few days, there have been a couple of posts like this going around. I particularly decided I'm not going to talk about it until I saw this particular one. It was a concern to me because it was from someone that I've come to admire from afar on this social space. Now, I posted it without her handle showing because she has deleted it. So I'm not sure if it was because the story she was referring to turned out to be false, or because maybe one or two persons close to her helped her see that it could have been better worded. Now, the truth is that the topic in question that a lot of people have been talking about the last week, sexual assault and rape, are sensitive topics, and they're not something to be trivially talked about. The problem, though, is when we move from talking about the crime perpetrated by a few individuals to talking about a full gender. Now, that has two problems. One of them is the people in that gender you are trying to demonize or call monsters that are not a part of the predators perpetrating that crime, of which a huge majority of them are not part of the perpetrators of such crime. When you generalize like this, one, you lose the support of those that are not part of the crime, are not in support of it, and consider it appalling because you have grouped both the perpetrators of the crime and the vast majority of those who do not support that crime. You've grouped them together by reason of gender. You tend to make these people indifferent in situations like this. That is the first problem. And then the second problem is that you kind of energize the predators, the perpetrators of the crime, who are actually few, but when you group everybody together as a gender, they begin to feel like it is a gender problem rather than their problem. Instead of them to see themselves as criminals perpetrating a violent crime, they begin to see themselves as people that can't help themselves by reason of their gender. I understand that given the story, that in this case, the Mirabel story, even though it has now turned out to be false, but it's a sensitive topic that a lot of women can relate with. That is why when women tweet about sexual assault and rape, it is quite different from when men tweet about it, because many of them are talking from personal experiences or an experience of someone really close to them. So it is emotional, it is sensitive, it is to them a topic that is home, not foreign. However, statistics have proven that about 85% of sexual assault cases and rape cases are from known assailants, that is, family members, close relatives, acquaintances that are known to the women. When you're saying men are this and men are that by reason of cases like this, there's usually someone or a group of persons in your mind, because they are family members or people close to you, your bosses and the rest of them. You really don't want to call their names, and instead you generalize and say men. But for every one man that have sexually assaulted you, there are 5 or 10 others that you know are actually good men, just easygoing, living their life, kind, and have been kind to you at different times of your life. You do not, by reason of those 5 to 10 good men that you know, generalize that men are good people. However, for that one person that went overboard, you decided that men are monsters. You see where the disparity comes in. And that is why, even though matters like this are sensitive and emotional, there is the need to word our replies carefully. So when you say men are this, there are actually pictures of the people you are referring to. It could help if you could call their names, it would even help you drag them. But please leave men in the generic sense out of it. There are places where sweeping generalizations are used. For instance, where a majority of the people in that demographic are guilty of that thing. There are a few exceptions, but the exceptions are not enough to negate the sweeping generalization. That is why when you say, in cases like this, you say men, you are trying to say a sweeping generalization or a good amount of men are this way, which is not the case. In the actual case, statistics have shown that just a few men perpetrate such heinous crime. And that is why using sweeping generalizations do not work in cases like this. And when you treat the case for what it is, a crime, and the perpetrators for who they are as criminals, then, for instance, in this case, you will not have to backtrack like this or start deleting posts like others if it turns out not to be the case that it was said to be. And that is why it is unfair and actually unwise to make posts where the subtext connotes that men are equivalent to danger or rapists. So please, I have corrected the post. You are welcome.